You know, inside all of our medicine cabinets, we've got these little bottles of what we think of as solutions. They're the pills we trust to knock out a headache, bring down a fever, and just help us get through the day. But what if the real danger isn't the sickness we're fighting? What if it's the cure? What if one simple choice, one we make without even thinking, could kick off a dangerous chain reaction inside our own bodies?
Just think about it for a second. You get a headache, maybe a muscle ache after a workout. What's the first thing you reach for? For so many of us, it's that common, everyday painkiller. It's just a little pill, right? We see it as totally harmless. It's become this symbol of fast, reliable relief, and you'll find it in pretty much every first aid kit and purse out there.
And you know, that trust we have, that's what makes the hidden truth of this so alarming. Because under the right, or I guess the wrong conditions, that exact same pill, our go-to fix, could be quietly setting the stage for some really serious, maybe even irreversible damage. That relief it's giving you, well, it might be coming at a price you don't even realize you're paying. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to be talking about a specific class of drugs that I can almost guarantee you have in your house right now. Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. You've probably heard of them as NSAIDs. It's really time we pull back the curtain on these everyday pills and get a clear picture of the risks they can carry. Do any of these names ring a bell? Ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac. I bet they do. These are some of the most widely used drugs on the entire planet, sold under tons of different brand names. And, you know, because they're so easy to get, we often forget just how powerful they are and what kind of harm they can potentially do. So, to really get a handle on this risk, I want you to picture your kidneys as these two incredible high-tech factories. They're working 24/7, constantly filtering your blood. Well, these NSAIDs, if the circumstances are wrong, they can act like little saboteurs, sneaking into the factory and quietly messing up the entire production line.
All right, let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How in the world does a pill that's made to stop your headache end up launching an assault on one of your body's most important systems? Well, it all boils down to this subtle but incredibly powerful chain reaction happening inside of you.
It happens in 3 pretty simple steps. First, you take the NSAID and it gets into your system. Second, it starts doing its job, which involves blocking certain chemicals. And that, right there, is where the problem starts, because one of those chemicals is crucial for your kidneys. And the result? That's step 3. The blood supply to your kidney factory suddenly gets choked off.
So what is this key chemical that gets blocked? They're called prostaglandins. Now, the easiest way to think of them is as the security guards or the gatekeepers for your kidneys. Their whole job is to make sure the blood vessels going to the kidneys stay nice and wide open, guaranteeing a steady, healthy supply of blood to be filtered. They are absolutely essential protectors.
And this is the most important part to understand. NSAIDs work because they block prostaglandins to stop pain and swelling in other parts of your body. But, and this is a big but, while they're doing that, they also shut down the prostaglandins that are protecting your kidneys. The gatekeepers are essentially knocked out, the gates start to close, and the blood flow gets dangerously low. Now look, this doesn't happen to every single person who takes one. The risk absolutely skyrockets when a few specific factors come together to create a kind of perfect storm. And this is where it all becomes very personal. So let's figure out if you might be stepping into the danger zone.
Okay, the first and probably the most common danger zone is simply being dehydrated. When you haven't had enough water, your body is already scrambling to conserve fluids, and that means blood flow to the kidneys is already a bit lower than usual. Taking an NSAID in that state, it is literally like throwing gasoline on a fire. It can cause a sudden, dramatic drop in blood flow and potentially cause some serious, acute kidney injury.
The second danger zone is age. As we get older, and we're generally talking about over 60 here, our kidney function just naturally starts to decline a little bit. Our kidneys don't have the same backup power they used to, and this makes them way more sensitive to the effects of NSAIDs cutting off that precious blood flow.
And finally, danger zone number 3, just using them too often. You know, popping a painkiller every single day for that nagging backache without talking to a doctor, all of that exposure adds up. It can lead to this slow, silent decline in how well your kidneys work over time. One pill might seem like nothing, but day after day, they can really start to cause lasting damage.
So, what does all of this mean for us? It means we have to completely rethink what safe actually means. We have this tendency to just focus on the dosage, take 2 pills, like it says on the bottle. But the real story, the new rulebook we need to follow, is all about the conditions under which we're taking them. This brings us to what might be the single most important takeaway from all of this.
We read the bottle, we follow the dosage, but we have to understand that those instructions are written for a perfectly healthy, perfectly hydrated person. Safe dosage is just not a guarantee of safe usage if the other conditions aren't right.
So I'll leave you with this question. The power to keep yourself safe is, quite literally, in your hands. This isn't about being afraid of medicine, not at all. It's about respecting it. So the next time you reach for that little pill, just ask yourself, am I just following the dosage on the bottle, or am I truly making sure this is safe usage for my body right now? The difference between those two things, well, it could be everything.